Hello, and welcome to the new TobanTalks podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about articles and stories that are popping up in the Manitoban, the newspaper for the U of M, and just other things that I kind of have that's caught my eye and that I want to share with you. With that, who am I? My name is Max Reed. I am officially a new student. I've just been accepted into the U of M, and I am the audio editor here at the Manitoban. I'm going to be hosting the podcast and doing any other audio-related media for the Manitoban. But just because you see my face doesn't mean that I'm the only one doing this. There's a whole crew behind me, and there's a whole crew on the Manitoban who work on all these stories. So big shout out to them, and please show them the credit they're all due by picking up a paper or listening to this podcast or picking up any stories that you see wherever you would read the Manitoban at. Today, we have a few stories that caught my eye. The first one we're going to start off with is Portage and Main opening up. Pretty historical moment. It was 47 years Portage and Main was closed down or something like that. I might have my number wrong there, but a long time. And just recently, on the 27th, Friday, that it was open for pedestrians for the first time. And there's a big gathering that happened. Lots of people went down, lots of music, lots of enjoyment, entertainment, and excitement around a core part of Winnipeg's identity finally kind of coming to fruition. We all know that I'm sure people have experienced some headaches with the construction down in that area, to and from work, to and from school, kind of trying to do anything around there. But it really seems that a lot of people believe that it's paid off, that there's a lot of excitement around a opening to a core part of downtown, make it more walkable, make it more accessible. And I personally am super excited for a lot of the things that'll draw in the smaller businesses, any kind of entertainment that kind of comes down with that, just more general foot traffic in Winnipeg, visible foot traffic. It will be nice to see a more walkable city and a more lively environment in a part of downtown that seemed kind of hard to get around for a little while. So one of our news editors, Jesse Brogan, was down there interviewing some people. There's a few pedestrians that he kind of caught some interviews with. The first one is one named Liam Spears. Liam brought down bagpipes to Portage and Main, which I think is really great. The whole music, the Winnipeg music, I love Winnipeg music, I love Manitoba music. And he makes some comments about seeing other musicians down there, and I think it's an excellent way to kind of broaden our connectivity with Winnipeg music and kind of showcase it, is now that it's open and hopefully kind of keeps the hustle and bustle that it started off with. A lot of musicians will go down there and use it for their showcases and just having a good time hanging out, whether it's for an actual show or just to perform on their own time. So we'll hear a little bit from Liam here, see what he thinks about this initial opinion on opening up Portage and Main, and go from there.
It's great. It felt right. It felt empowering to both as a pedestrian and as a musician, I guess, to walk around the intersection here. Yeah, it was meant to be. This is the first time this has happened in my lifetime.
Yeah, so he used the word empowering there, which I think is a great way of putting it, honestly. It's nice to be able to have this connectivity, like I said, but for people who live in the core of downtown, who have finally seen this come to fruition, when they've been wanting it, I'm sure it's not just the excitement, the initial excitement of it, but just this long build-up that it's finally pulled through. It's finally happened and gives a lot of these people a little more accessibility to their areas around their community and around their livable areas. Jesse talked with Liam a little bit more here. We'll hear what he has to say about kind of what he's seeing going on initially and what he likes about this being opened up right now.
You know, I'm a big fan of this decision to open this intersection, so I thought I had to come down with the pipes and make it a little more special.
I just want to read bagpipes. I love it. I love the idea that there's a dude just walking down with the busiest stretches of Winnipeg traffic, just blasting bagpipes. I think it's great. I think and it's just a great way to kind of showcase it and bring attention to it. A unique instrument with unique individuals. Liam wasn't the only one he talked to. There's a few other. One was a woman named Morgan Shipley. Kind of asked what they thought about the changes around this getting done compared to kind of years ago, and the initial mentality that they have, seeing people kind of initially use this, and what it kind of means compared to what it went, what it kind of means now compared to what it meant back in 2018 when there was the kind of initial polling. If we remember, there was initial polling back in 2018 about the mentality, I guess, around this opening up. And it was a little divisive. Many people wanted it, many people didn't want it. There was a whole breakdown of like who and what areas wanted it more than other people in other areas, but I think it generally just came down to, in my opinion, just a little bit of a divisive nature around a lot of that. Morgan kind of mentions a lot of Winnipeggers are very economically minded, that, you know, people are thinking about how much is it going to cost? What is it going to mean for traveling downtown? What is it going to mean for getting to workplaces and businesses and stuff like that for the time that it takes to open this up? So she kind of touches on how she thinks that it's differed from then versus now.
I think it probably will encourage more people to come downtown. Yeah. Especially my colleagues to like go out. Like, it's so easy for us to cross the street, get anywhere we need to go quicker when we have access to Portage and Main at street level. I think it's gonna interesting. There's gonna be more energy about doing things downtown other than just coming to work and leaving.
Yeah, and I think I very much agree with that. The idea that there will be more to do downtown than just, you know, going to work, coming from work. The idea that maybe after work there's something you want to do, maybe with coworkers, friends, whatever. If you worked right on one of the stretches where it wasn't very open, you know, then you'd have to go back to your car, and then you'd have to, you know, find parking and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of, you know, might not be worth it in, you know, the grand scheme of things. Now, the incentive for people to not just come downtown, but to stay downtown has increased. And I'm personally excited to see if that'll kind of blend into a little bit more of a work hangout lifestyle that some people have around downtown from their transitioning from their works to wherever they go to afterwards. And I'm sure if we open it up and brings in like small businesses or other things open up on the kind of new strip we have, I guess, so to say, people will want to try it out after work. You know, workplace conversation leads to these things about, oh, hey, did you check this out? Did you see this? Did you, have you had a chance to go check out this new restaurant, place, diner, whatever? Now, instead of just making plans for the weekend, why not just go after work? Just, you know, 3-minute, 4-minute walk away. Why not just go and enjoy it now rather than having to make a plan to plan around it? So yeah, I very much agree with a lot of things she has to say. And then Jesse happened to run into Mayor Gillingham. I guess he was down there experiencing, you know, the project come to fruition, and I'm sure there's much excitement with him and many people around him about this finally finishing up. And probably a lot of happiness and relief seeing how many people are out there enjoying it, and the liveliness of on a Friday afternoon, evening, whatever, people were down there celebrating and enjoying the idea that finally came to pass. So we'll listen to what he has to say first about this.
Well, it's acting like an intersection right now. I think obviously there's some early interest from people that have decided to come and walk across Portage and Main, because people haven't been able to do that for almost 50 years. For 46 years, we argued about whether or not people should be able to cross this street here. We've ended the debate. The intersection is open to pedestrians.
The intersection is open to pedestrians, and I do think, yeah, some of it might be a little, first time opening up, excitement going down to see it, but I do genuinely think that there will be a lot of attention around it going forward. That it's not just going to be a brand new shiny thing, now it's done. Which I'm sure is not what he meant at all, but it's nice to think that it's going to stick around, that it is going to stick around, this mentality around is going to stick around. Maybe not to the same degree that the day one is like, probably not, but the idea that it will still be a core identity to a lot of people who live, work downtown, and even just people who live in Winnipeg in general, that it can become this attraction for even those outside of Winnipeg, that if they come here and see us, visiting for whatever reasons, Portage and Main will be a nice actual area to wander around and to enjoy time with visiting family or visiting friends, or just checking out Winnipeg in general. He made a few other comments about the mentality around when he first started running, around what the idea around the Portage and Main was, and then again the polling back in 2018 and what they see now around it.
Well, I was running for re-election as councillor for St. James, so we were all thinking about that plebiscite. But a lot has changed since 2018, since that plebiscite. We went through COVID. COVID changed traffic patterns. We have different traffic stats at this intersection today compared to what we have in 2018. There's actually less traffic in the intersection. More people are working from home. There's fewer people working downtown. So there's a lot that's changed, and there's a lot of significant development happening in the downtown that's really exciting.
Yeah, and that's something I never actually really considered, is that traffic data kind of changing the mentality around the functionality of this. COVID did do a pretty major hit when people moved into working from home. And, there's a lot of people who found that it was easy for them, whether it be for kids, even pets, just more comfortable for a whole numerous of reasons, that working from home was just kind of their style. And, lowering traffic downtown, yeah, I'm sure now that the intersection is, less busier, probably, that the mentality around opening it up and actually making it walkable has kind of come through in a positive tone. So yeah, that was Jesse Brogan's piece on that. Please check it out in the Manitoban. He did another piece about Graham Avenue. It's being reimagined. He says that there are going to be murals, street furniture, and ping pong tables that are going to be going up for various events and just general use. So if that interests you, check that out. The other things around cycling paths, and bus routes. So if any of that stuff seems to pique your interest or might affect you in any way, or if you're a cyclist and you want to go up Graham and see kind of chart a route ahead of time, check out Jesse's piece on that. This next segment is about an article that our arts and culture editor, Boris Lung, put together. He interviewed a U of M student named UV Chavla about an art installation, an art exposition that he put on to showcase some of his traditional art and a performance art for kind of themes around identity and trust in religion. There's a lot of themes of religion in this art exposition, and UV Chavla explains that though he enjoys and does put up a lot of traditional art of his own kind, it's very much focused towards the performance piece of it. He said that this whole idea started with a painting he did called Things I Pray To, which is a part of the installation itself. Unfortunately, the installation is over now. The exposition is over now. It ended on the 9th. But if anyone went to see it, we'd love to hear what you saw there and how it went. It sounded very interesting, and the background that led up to it seemed very moving and compelling. it would have been great to go and see this piece put on. I'll let UV Chawla explain his background about everything that led up to the decision to put this on and what inspired him to put on such an installation.
So, Faith Would You Trust? It started off of the painting that's actually in the show. The painting is called Things I Pray To. So it started off with the question of, can I trust religion? Should religion be trusted at all? And if I do trust religion, why do I trust it? That was a very simple idea that I wanted to just explore if religion can actually be trusted. And if I do trust religion, are my prayers being answered? So from that, it became this huge question of trust in general. Like, how do I trust anyone? Do I even trust myself? It became a huge question to me. And it just kept on growing and growing, and it became this entire exhibition about it.
So to kind of break down what happens at the happened at the installation, UV Chawla would start it off by opening the doors to people who are waiting outside. Inside, there were installations that represented 4 different types of religions. There was Islam, Christian, Hindu, and Sikhism. And people would follow him around to these different installations that had his own art up representing the different religions. And he would do a traditional prayer in those different religions. This was to kind of represent how people trust in these religions, what leads people to trust in these religions. And as he goes through this journey that kind of showcases to others his own journey in trusting his own religion and then questioning potentially the trust in things like that. It ends in a pretty bombastic way. I don't want to give too much away because it very much seems like you had to be there kind of event, but it seemed that it ended in this big explosive emotional moment of him basically chanting things like, are you listening? Are you there? And reaching out to see if everything he did, so to say, with the prayers, really reached someone. And it seems like a very interesting way to take people on your own internal dialogue. When you question yourself about these things, like how do you trust religion, how do you trust others, how do you trust yourself to make these types of decisions, these big decisions that define who you are, define massive changes in your life, it's really interesting to see how people navigate those waters, so to say. How he did it obviously is represented in the art, and I love the idea that using art as a way to showcase your own internal dialogue to others, it's just a great creative and inspiring moment for many people. And if you go to see it, you're necessarily not going there to change your mind or to change anything about your life, but maybe it changes a perspective that you have on yourself or on the outside world, and it just showcases a different perspective that someone else has on these tough discussions to have with yourself. It's very compelling and very interesting to see how other people handle these moments in these very creative ways. Like I said, the event finished. It started on June 25th and it ended on July 9th. But if anyone was there, we would love to hear what you saw, your takes on what you saw, and how it impacted you, if it did. We thought it sounded very interesting, and unfortunately, I couldn't get out to see it. But I really would have liked to. And the next time something is put on by UV Chawla, I would love to see what he brings to the table and what next steps he takes in this artistic journey that he started. Yeah. So with that, we'll move on to our final segment. We have another one. Big soccer tournament happening in Manitoba, but maybe not the one you expect or have heard of before. It is called the Manitoba African Cup of Nations. It's really interesting, actually. I'm not going to lie. I didn't even know this was a thing in Manitoba until I came here. It's an article being done by our sports editor, Abdul Ahmed. He talked to Sidhu Mohammed, the co-founder and operations manager for this event. What is it? Essentially, there is a tournament that goes on in Manitoba that brings a bunch of countries' teams from Africa over to Manitoba. It's a tournament. There's different groups, but a big part of it is just like cultural exposition and everyone forming a community around this sport, around soccer. We all know how tight soccer can make people and how close-knit soccer can make people. So it's really nice being able to fuse this idea of cultural exposition with sports and showcasing the different cultures and the different teams and the different players, and being able to have such a big and lively event out of this. And it started in 2019 with only 4 teams. It started with Ghana, Eritrea, the DR Congo, and Senegal. And it exploded into this 12-team tournament that people come out yearly for. We'll hear this first clip from Sidhu Mohammed and see what he has to say about it.
So Manitoba Africa Cup of Nations is about the community. It's about the African community. We are disorganized, and in the history of Manitoba, there is this kind of tournament that goes on before, but it wasn't organized or wasn't kept well. So we have to bring it back. So this tournament started in 2019 with 4 teams: Ghana, Eritrea, DRC, Congo, and Senegal. So those are the teams that we started this tournament with. And the reason we brought this tournament is about the unity. We want to unite the African communities. Through African community, we can get all the African communities come together so that we can have a common goal. And Africa, we love soccer. And soccer is a universal language for everybody. So that's why my president and I, that's why we wanted to bring this tournament out so that the African communities can come out, so that we can all have a common goal at the same time, learn about each other's culture. Okay. So it's more about the African communities.
What an awesome sounding event, honestly. And that whole idea of like soccer being kind of like this universal language, it's kind of funny because I've never been a huge soccer guy, but I played soccer when I was younger, and then as I grew up, I transitioned to baseball, and then I kind of moved on to basketball after a little while and some other stuff. But even still, I will find myself like getting invested into like big soccer events, like if it's like the Summer Olympics or if like Team Canada's doing well. I know my dad will probably have it on TV, and I'll always kind of follow it just a little bit, just in the background. So yeah, I definitely think that soccer has this very strong culture around bringing people together. Like most sports do have that kind of idea of unity and bringing together a community, but soccer seems to be so kind of ingrained in so many cultures that it just like is so tight knit. Soccer makes people so tight knit and so close together. And then fusing it with like the cultural exposition and the showcase of all the different people coming out, like it seems like a great time. We'll check in with him with how the kind of the growth and the exposition of it has kind of changed it into what it has become today after so many years.
Yeah, it has been expansion. So each year, so in 2020 we got 8 teams, and the 8 teams are Senegal, Ghana, DRC, Congo, Nigeria, South Sudan, and Eritrea, and there's 2 teams that came and joined. So we had 8 teams in 2020. So since then it's been expanding every year. So that each year that we goes, it's more exposure. It's exposed everybody, and everybody come here and watch. And also in 2021, we got 12 teams. 2021, we got 12 teams, and 2022, we got 16 teams. And 2022, we got 12 teams, and 2023, we got 16 teams. 2024, we got 16 teams, and this year, we got 12 teams.
That's really cool to hear, like how it's kind of started off as just this 14 tournaments that kind of has blown up into this much bigger event, even going down from the 16 teams to the 12 teams this year. It still seems like they haven't slowed down, that it's still pushing strong, that it's still going strong, and that it's not going anywhere, which is great. These cultural expositions, especially done through sports, just has such a draw for so many different people, and kind of just building a community that is literally crossing, like, not just borders but countries. It's awesome to see that we are such a welcoming environment for people outside of our own country to come here and then have this awesome, amazing tournament and cultural expose, so to say, for so many different people, and the people it brings, and the community and liveliness it brings to Manitoba is just a nice thing to experience and see, and makes me personally happy that it's going on in my own backyard, so to say. So if you want to hear more on that event that's going on, check out Abdul's piece on that in the Manitoban, and keep up to date with your local sports communities. To kind of wrap things up, I obviously don't have enough time to cover everything, but a few other shout outs to some other stories that are happening right now. Roy Oba, another news editor, did a piece on National Indigenous Peoples Day. It is the 29th anniversary for celebrating First Nations, Métis, and Inuit cultures. Huge, monumental moments. Did a great piece on it. Our U of M, Justin Rasmussen, had some interviews in there talking about leadership and leadership development amongst communities, which is really nice. He also did a piece on some U of M updates regarding copyright laws for students. There's been a revised set of guidelines. Check those out. Check out this story on that if it affects you for students. Keep up to date on what the guidelines are around around republishing some teacher material and some course material. And we have another article done by Quinn Mayhew about if influencers have too much influence on things like social media, specifically geared towards younger generations, which I kind of agree. There's a little too much I think influence some people have on the internet over others, and Quinn Mayhew did a great piece on that. And kind of last article kind of touch on is done by Mansoura Megla, our research and technology editor, did a piece on cosmopolitanism and consumer culture, kind of around brand messaging. Is brand messaging kind of the way to go with cosmopolitanism and the idea that everyone kind of belongs to one identity, and where does it kind of fall when it comes to consumer brands and consumer mentality? Quite interesting piece. I actually quite enjoyed reading that one. But that will wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for sticking with me. Thank you very much for sticking through the first episode. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this, think about this, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you.